Right now, someone is counting on you to do exactly what you always do. They already know your next move. They already know how you'll react. They already know what you'll say when they push you, what you'll do when they ignore you, and how long it takes before you come crawling back. And the worst part, you don't even know you're doing it. You think you're being consistent. You think you're being reliable. But to the people watching you, the ones positioned above you, around you, beside you, you are not reliable. You are readable, and readable means controllable. Think about the last time someone disrespected you and you did nothing. You told yourself you were being the bigger person, but they didn't see a bigger person. They saw a confirmed pattern. They tested you and you passed their test. Not yours, theirs. Think about the last time you waited for a text back. You know exactly how long you waited before you sent another one. So do they. Think about the last time you were passed over for something you deserved. A promotion, recognition, an opportunity. You swallowed it. You stayed quiet. You moved on. And they noted it, filed it, used it again. You are not losing because you are weak. You are losing because you are known. And in a world built on power, the known man is the managed man. This video is gonna change the way you move. Not your personality, not your values, your strategy. Because strategy is the only thing standing between you and every person who has already mapped out your limits. Let's stop and be honest for a second. You were taught that being predictable was a virtue. Show up on time, be consistent, be the guy people can count on. And there is nothing wrong with those things. Done this. In a world where everyone is operating in good faith, but that is not the world you are living in. The world you are living in has people in it who are watching your patterns the same way a chess player watches the board. They are not doing it because they are evil. They are doing it because it is effective. And nobody told you that the game was already being played. So you never learned the rules. You were raised to be transparent, to be open, to wear your emotions where people could see them. Because you were told that was honesty. What they didn't tell you was that every emotion you display is a data point. Every reaction you show is a roadmap. Every time you flinch, every time you rush, every time you over-explain, you are handing someone your manual. And they are reading it at night while you sleep. This is not your fault. The system that shaped you, school, social media, even family dynamics, rewarded predictability. Sit in the same seat, follow the same routine, be easy to grade, be easy to manage, be easy to predict. The people who designed those systems needed you predictable, so they could plan around you. But here is the shift. The moment you realize your predictability is not a personality trait, but a conditioned behavior, everything changes. Because what was conditioned can be reconditioned. What was learned can be unlearned. And what they mapped out about you can be quietly, deliberately redrawn. 500 years ago, a man sat in a cold room in Florence, stripped of his power, exiled from everything he had built. And he wrote the most dangerous book in the history of human strategy. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli, and he was not a villain. He was a man who had watched good, honest, transparent people get destroyed by men who understood power better than they did. He watched loyalty get punished. He watched openness get exploited. He watched the predictable man lose every single time. And so he wrote it all down, not as a moral guide, as a survival manual. The world tried to ban his book. The church called it the work of the devil. Powerful men condemned it in public and studied it in private. Because what Machiavelli had written was not evil, it was simply true. And truth, when it threatens the people who benefit from your ignorance, will always be called dangerous. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Read that again. He is not telling you to be fake. He is telling you that appearance and reality are two separate weapons, and the man who understands the difference between them holds enormous power over the man who does not. Machiavelli did not invent manipulation. He described it. He pulled back the curtain on a game that was already being played on you and handed you the rule book. What you do with it is your choice. Lesson 1. Your reaction is their remote control. Every emotional reaction you have on schedule is a lever they can pull whenever they need to. You know this situation. Someone says something slightly dismissive in a group setting. You feel it land. You react. Maybe a defensive comment. Maybe you go quiet. Maybe you fire back. And the person who said it, they weren't even surprised because they knew. They already knew what that particular trigger would produce. They didn't start a fight. They ran a test, and you gave them the result they expected. The psychology here is simple. When people learn that input, a producer's output be from you, every single time, they gain a form of control over you that requires no force. They don't need to threaten you. They don't need to manipulate you in some complex way. They just need to press the right button, and you've been showing them where all the buttons are for years. Starting today, the next time you feel the impulse to react immediately, pause for exactly 5 seconds, not to suppress the emotion, to create distance between the stimulus and your response. That gap, that 5-second gap, is where your power lives. In that silence, you stop being predictable. In that silence, they lose the remote. Drop this in the comments. My silence is my strategy. Lesson 2. Stop announcing your next move. The man who tells everyone his plans is the man who arrives at the finish line to find someone already there. You have done this. You have felt the excitement of a new idea, a new goal, a new decision, a business plan, a life change, and you shared it, maybe with a friend, maybe on social media, maybe in a conversation where you just couldn't contain it, and something happened. Either the energy shifted, the people around you subtly discouraged it, or worse, nothing happened, and the social validation you got from announcing it replaced the actual drive to execute it. This is not coincidence. This is neuroscience and social dynamics colliding. When you announce a goal, your brain receives a small dopamine reward as if you've already partially completed it. Your motivation drops, and the people around you, consciously or not, begin to mentally categorize you as the guy who talks about things, not the guy who does them. Machiavelli understood this completely. The prince who announces his campaigns before he launches them gives his enemies time to prepare. The prince who moves in silence arrives before the defense is ready. Starting today, let your actions announce themselves. When something is done, show it. Until then, move in silence. Drop this in the comments. I move in silence and arrive like thunder. Lesson 3. Your availability is setting your value. When you are always there, you are never missed. And what is never missed has no value. Think about the person in your life, at work, in relationships, in friendships, who you take completely for granted. Not because you don't care about them, but because they are always available. They always respond immediately. They are always willing. They never say no. And because of that, their presence means nothing, because their absence is not something you've ever had to feel. Now think about the person in your life whose attention you actually want. The one whose approval means something. The one who makes you sit up straighter when they walk in. Guaranteed, that person is not endlessly available to you. There is a natural scarcity to them, not fake scarcity. Real presence that is rationed by their own priorities. The psychology is primal. Scarcity signals value. Abundance signals disposability. And when you make yourself infinitely available, always online, always responsive, always ready to help, always waiting, you are training everyone around you to see you as a resource, not a person. Starting today, introduce intentional response gaps. Not games, not manipulation, real prioritization. Your time goes to your mission first. People experience your presence as something they must earn, and therefore something they will value. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Lesson 4. The man with no fixed pattern cannot be trapped. Predictability is not just a social weakness, it is a tactical vulnerability. There are people in your life right now who have timed your patterns so precisely they could set a clock by you. They know when you'll give in. They know when you're most likely to say yes. They know which days you're distracted and which days you're sharp. They know that if they ask you at 6 p.m. on a Friday, you'll agree to things you'd never agree to on a Tuesday morning. And they use this. This is not paranoia. This is pattern recognition, the same skill that makes animals dangerous predators. Humans are animals who have simply dressed the predatory instinct in polite language and office culture. The fix is not to become erratic. It is to become intentionally varied. Same values, different expressions. Same destination, different routes. You don't become unpredictable by being random. You become unpredictable by never letting your behavior become someone else's formula. Starting today, change one routine. A different time you check your phone. A different way you handle a recurring conversation. A different day you do a predictable task. Small pattern interruptions compound into a man no one can fully map. Drop this in the comments. You cannot cage what you cannot predict. Lesson 5. Stop over-explaining yourself. Every explanation you give is an apology you didn't mean to make. You know the feeling. Someone questions your decision. Someone pushes back. Someone raises an eyebrow at your choice. And immediately, you go into justification mode. You explain your reasoning. You cite your logic. You walk them through why you did what you did, why it makes sense, why they should understand. And by the end of it, they respect the decision less, not more. Here is why. When you over-explain, you are signaling that their opinion has authority over your choices. You are telling them, without words, that your decisions require their validation to stand. And people who are watching for leverage note this instantly. If they can make you explain yourself, they can make you doubt yourself. And if they can make you doubt yourself, they can redirect you. The most powerful men in any room say very little, not because they are withholding, but because they understand that the decision is the statement. You don't explain a thunderstorm. It just arrives. Starting today, when someone questions a decision you've already made, give them 2 words. I decided, nothing more. Let the silence after those words do the rest of the work. Drop this in the comments. My decisions don't require your approval. Lesson 6. Learn to disappear before they expect it. The exit is the most powerful move in any interaction, and most men never use it. You have been in rooms, conversations, relationships, workplaces that stopped serving you a long time ago. And you stayed, not because you had to, because leaving felt wrong, because it felt like quitting, because you were worried about what people would think, because you kept hoping the situation would change on its own. And while you stayed, they assumed permanence. They stopped valuing your presence because your presence had become guaranteed. You became furniture. Reliable, useful, immovable, and completely taken for granted. Machiavelli knew that the prince who could leave, who had no desperate attachment to any single alliance, throne, or relationship held more power than the one who clung. Because desperation is visible, and visible desperation is exploitable. Starting today, audit every space you occupy. Ask one question: would they notice if I was gone? If the honest answer is no, begin preparing your exit quietly, without announcement. And when you leave, leave completely. Because a half exit is just another predictable pattern. As long as the map they have of you is accurate, they will always know where to find you. The most dangerous thing about predictability is not that it makes you vulnerable in moments. It is that it makes you manageable over time. Every person who has decided they know who you are has also decided what you are capable of, and they will treat you unconsciously, habitually, according to that ceiling they have set for you in their mind. The colleague who sees you as the quiet one will keep you out of rooms where loud voices are needed. The partner who sees you as the emotionally available one will stop bringing their best self to the relationship. The boss who sees you as the reliable executor will never consider you for the visionary role. Not out of malice, out of pattern recognition. The only way to break their ceiling is to become unrecognizable. Not to them, to who you used to be. The man who quietly and deliberately expands past every definition others have placed on him does not ask for their permission to grow. He simply grows and lets the gap between who he was and who he is do the talking. So here is where we land. You have been playing a game with no rule book, surrounded by people who had one. You have been open in a world that rewards opacity, reactive in a world that rewards composure, available in a world that values scarcity, predictable in a world that exploits patterns. And none of that was your fault. But from this moment, it is your responsibility, because now you know, and you cannot unknow this. The next time you feel the pull to react immediately, you will remember. The next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, you will remember. The next time you are about to announce a plan before it's done, you will stop. You will breathe. You will choose. The old you is dead. He was a good man who played by rules that were designed to keep him exactly where he was. He deserved better than the game he was given. But he is gone now, and what rises in his place is something different, something deliberate, something that cannot be read, cannot be rushed, cannot be baited into revealing itself before the moment is right. You are a weapon, pointed at your own future, not at other people, not at revenge, at your own potential, finally unlocked, because you stopped handing the key to anyone who asked for it. You move differently now. You speak differently. You take up space differently. People will notice the change, and they won't be able to name it. That namelessness is your new power. You belong to no one, not to their timelines, not to their expectations, not to the version of you they built in their heads. You are the architect of your next chapter, and you are building it in silence, in strategy, and in absolute sovereignty. The unpredictable man cannot be managed. The unpredictable man cannot be caged. The unpredictable man is free. If this video landed, if something in here felt like a door opening, then you already know what channel you're standing in. This is not a content channel. This is a library of things they never wanted you to find. Every video here is a piece of the same puzzle, the psychology of power, the philosophy of the sovereign man, the strategy of those who stopped, waiting for permission and started building their own world. You don't have to subscribe. Nobody is forcing your hand. But if you want the next piece, the next truth, the next shift, then the subscribe button is your choice to make. Not for me. For the version of you that just woke up in the last 12 minutes. One more thing before you go. Leave your answer in the comments below. What is the one pattern in your life right now that if you broke it would change everything? Think about that. Sit with it and come back tomorrow because the next video is already waiting.